Hi guys, AnimeScale here, and today we are going to give the Akatsuki list an update. Now, the last time I ranked this group was almost 2 years ago, so today we are just doing it again with the new tiers. So now let's get started. Karin is a bit unfair to put on this list because she isn't really meant to be a fighter in the first place. She's a support ninja, and a very good one at that. She has a unique ability where just biting her will restore the injuries and the chakra reserves of the person that bit her. Besides that, she has exceptional tracking abilities and is very intelligent, which is how she figured out Danzo's Izanagi scheme before even Sasuke did. In a straight-up fight though, well, she can use earth and water release, but we never really see her using any threatening techniques. She basically doesn't have any combat feats to speak of, at least not in her normal state. Don't worry, more on that later on down the list. Juzo is the ninja we know the least about on this list. What we do know is that he was a member of the Akatsuki before the events of Naruto and ended up dying in a fight against the Mizukage. Now, admittedly, it wasn't like he died to a stray punch or anything. It took a tailed beast ball to kill him, so that's at least saying something. He was also one of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the Mist. This is an anime filler, but he also ended up surviving a fight against Dai, Guy's father, after he opened the 8th gate of death. Now, this is mostly just him surviving by running away, but that's still a feat. Still, it's hard to put him anywhere else on this list without knowing more about him. Black Zetsu is one of the most fearsome beings in the entire Naruto universe, seeing as he was the one who set up most of it to happen the way it did. Still, when it comes to raw fighting strength, he does leave a lot to be desired. On paper, with all 5 nature releases at his disposal and wood release on top of that, you think he'd be pretty strong, and yet he never actually fought. Still, he probably would be pretty fearsome, especially considering the fact that he has insane durability. He has been alive for more than 100 years after all. Just like Juzo, however, you can't really put someone basically feetless high up on the list. Hidan is interesting. He easily has the most durability out of anyone in the entire show because, well, you literally can't kill him. He's actually immortal. Even if you manage to decapitate him, that won't be nearly enough to put him down for good. He has so much potential, and yet, I just can't put him higher on the list. Hidan has one unique ability. He can mark himself and transfer any damage to the person he marks. Outside of that, he's very weak. He's only meh at genjutsu and isn't really a threat for anyone who doesn't get surprised by the tricks he has up his sleeve. Honestly, the only reason Asuma even died was because Hidan took him by surprise. This is only highlighted by the fact that he got taken out by Shikamaru. Now, Shikamaru is definitely one of those people who can beat people stronger than him, but it wasn't like he was going to beat up any real Kage-level fighters at that point either. All in all, he is the weakest member of the Akatsuki we see at the start of Shippuden. Suigetsu has one of the strongest defenses in the whole show. It isn't that he's super durable or anything. Instead, he can make his entire body liquefy, so any damage done to him just doesn't hurt him at all. Now, obviously, there are ways around this, like lightning release, but it is still a pretty strong defense. Besides that, he's one of the more skilled genjutsu users in the series, and we see him fight plenty of times. The most important was during the Kage summits, where he even managed to block one of the Rikage's attacks. This is a massive speed feat, as the Rikage is one of the fastest people alive. He also held his own a little against B, but that one doesn't count nearly as much as B was more focused on tying with Taka and running away than anything else. All in all, he's a pretty dangerous fighter, but genjutsu alone isn't exactly the strongest thing in the Naruto-verse. Jugo is one of the few people in the series that can use nature energy. That is huge, because nature energy is one of the biggest amps in Naruto. There's just one problem. Unlike everyone else who uses nature energy, Jugo can't use it without going berserk, which is a pretty big weakness if you ask me. Still, in this form, Jugo hits very hard and very fast, and would probably overwhelm most Jonin he'd end up fighting. He also has crazy regeneration, so he is also able to outlast most people he can fight. Besides that, when he transforms, he can transform specific parts of himself, giving him an edge in fights depending on what he needs. All in all, Jugo is certainly a big threat, but nowhere near most of the other people on this list. We've already talked about how weak Karin is, and she still is just as weak. Still, a lot of that changes when Karin ends up using her chakra chains. The only other person we ever see using anything like this is Kushina, and Kushina was strong enough to suppress the Nine Tails itself. Karin isn't quite as ridiculous as that, even if she can use her chains to suppress the chakra of the people she entangles in them. These chains give her a powerful long-range attack, one so strong she used it to decimate a giant wooden statue summoned by Toby. Just one hit from these things was enough to send Suigetsu flying, so she definitely deserves this place on the list. Deidara is a fan-favorite character, and for good reason. His explosion release is one of the most versatile jutsu in the entire series, allowing Deidara to make just about anything from explosive clay, from spiders all the way up to a dragon that he can ride. All of his bombs pack a massive punch and are easily more than most Kage can handle. This is most obvious when he took on Gaara in his own turf. Not only did he beat Gaara without killing him, he made it look easy. If all else fails, he also has his ultimate move where Deidara blows himself up in one of the biggest scale attacks before the war arc. Sasori is stronger than Deidara. Deidara said as much himself, so that pretty easily puts him above him on this list. Sasori is a very dangerous ninja and the strongest puppet master we see in the show. He's easily Kage level. We know that since he literally went and killed the third Kazekage. More than that, the series does show that Sasori was a bit of a rival to Orochimaru himself. Though Orochimaru is probably a fair bit stronger, Sasori has access to the puppet of the third Kazekage, giving him access to all of his jutsu and his Kekkei Genkai. Besides this, he also has the ability to control 298 puppets all at once. This is way more than we see anyone do, and Sasori himself says that this power is more than enough to level an entire nation if he wanted. He also has deadly poison that will almost definitely kill anyone that doesn't have the right antidote. People might not rate him that highly since he lost to Sakura. Not only did she have the help of Chiyo, someone who knew Sasori inside and out, he more or less did kill himself, rather than actually losing. Konan isn't someone people give a lot of credit to. We're going to immediately put her above Sasori because she is the one who recruited him into the Akatsuki after beating him. Sure, this fight is not canon, but I really think that Konan is at least around Sasori's level of strength. The feat most worth talking about is obviously her fight against Obito. Here, with some prep time, she was able to trap Obito with billions of paper bombs all exploding at once. This was the way she thought of to try and get past Kamui. This method was ridiculously effective, and if Obito didn't have Izanagi, he would actually have died. This is an Obito who'd only been hit one time before this, and it was someone like Minato. This jutsu would probably kill just about anyone, but who knows how much prep time Konan really needs to set all this up. It's possible to put her even higher up on this list, but we can't really say for sure. Kakuzu is a strange one. For one thing, he apparently fought the first Hokage and survived the battle. Now, he isn't that strong, and I have no idea how that happened, but he's still plenty strong anyway. He's one of the two immortal members of the Akatsuki. He can make puppets out of chakra strings, using the hearts of people as a base. This way, he can use the nature transformations that a person had in life, and is able to control these puppets separately, making him quite a threat on any battlefield. Besides how cool this is, this also has the added benefit of extending his life. You see, you can't kill Kakuzu until you kill every single one of his hearts. Besides this, even killing one of Kakuzu's hearts isn't exactly easy. Due to his unique string-like body, he can pretty easily repair even major injuries to himself. He went toe-to-toe with Kakashi and several other ninjas all at once. It only took Naruto using one of the deadliest jutsu in the show to finally put him down. Above Kakuzu, we have Orochimaru, and power scaling him is not that easy since we only have the little skirmish with Itachi as reference, and he lost so bad. This Orochimaru is surely weaker than the one who killed Rasa and then fought Hiruzen because he hadn't perfected the Edo Tensei yet. Sasuke got a massive power boost after the time skip and has many feats that peg him really high up on this list. He took down Itachi. Now, this wasn't Itachi who wasn't going all out and was sick, but even that's probably more than anyone else on this list would have managed. He took down Deidara, a ninja who was so strong he went into the Sand Village and beat Gaara of all people and made it look easy. Now, a lot of people think that Deidara and Sasuke's fight was close, but they are kind of missing the point. Sasuke had the upper hand that entire fight. The only reason that fight looked close was because Deidara chose to literally kill himself, and even that didn't work. After getting his Mangekyo, his power only increased. Sure, against B, he was too cocky since he could barely utilize his left eye, but I see him winning against all the characters we listed so far. Kisame is known as a tail beast without a tail, and that name is not an exaggeration. Outside of maybe the second Hokage, he is definitely the strongest water style user we ever see in the series. Most ninja who use water style are pretty limited in what they can do if they don't have a source of water directly to draw from. They can only use weaker techniques, so water style isn't exactly the most useful chakra nature. That isn't really a thing for Kisame, who can summon just as much water as he wants. This is exactly what we saw in his fight against Guy, where he easily managed to drown a small valley, and then had more than enough chakra to spare to use plenty of crazy techniques. All of this is only boosted by Samihada, which can absorb his opponent's chakra, making the gap between Kisame and anyone he's fighting even wider. Yes, Kisame did have to kill himself to not get captured by Guy using the 7th gate, but the fact that Guy had to go so far at all isn't something you can take lightly. Itachi is one of the most feared missing ninja in the entire world, and for good reason. He is probably one of the most talented ninja we ever meet, and it's only thanks to his own illness that he isn't even more ridiculous than he already is. We talked about how strong Orochimaru is, and all it took was a 5-second fight with Itachi for Orochimaru to not only give up on taking Itachi's body, but to run away from the Akatsuki altogether. He also gave Deidara a complex that he tried taking out on Sasuke years later too. The Mangekyo Sharingan powers Itachi has are no joke. Amaterasu and Tsukiyomi would both one-shot most ordinary ninja. Then he has one of the strongest Susanoo we ever see in the series. There are very few people who could do anything against Itachi, and everyone below him on this list would probably lose in a 1v1 fight. Pain is no joke, that should go without saying, and yet I find some people seem to sell Pain short, or at least not realize just how crazy he is. Yes, he killed Jiraiya, and he's the fake leader of the Akatsuki. He even runs his own village. Still, he got beaten by Sage Mode Naruto, so that probably has something to do with it. Just remember that Pain did this after he fought the entire Leaf village, and killed quite a bit of it. He blew up the whole village using God knows how much chakra. He then not only fought Sage Mode Naruto, he fought him when he had 2 other clones gathering nature energy and when he knew basically everything about Pain's abilities. Then he fought the Ninetales, going out of control. Then he fought Sage Mode Naruto again after he got his chakra back from Minato. Then finally, Naruto just barely managed to win out. If that isn't insane enough, then this was a Pain who wasn't exactly in the best of health either. Pain is godlike and would handle anyone else on this list before him. There's a reason Obito was the real leader of the Akatsuki. Even Nagato knows what the real pecking order is. Barely anyone could do anything against Obito at all. When Pain attacked Konoha and Minato talked to Naruto, he took one look at Naruto and said, yeah, this Pain guy is strong, but that guy I fought years ago is way worse. Obito was in fact half the reason Minato sealed the Ninetales inside Naruto to begin with. He's hands down the strongest member of the Akatsuki. And that's it for this video. Do you agree with this list? Be sure to leave your own lists down in the comments below. And if you have any ideas for future videos, be sure to leave those down below too. Until next time, this is AnimeScale out. Bye!